Hello there, my name is Gavin Ball. Just gonna talk you through a quick little painting I did. It took me about 2 hours. It's sped up about a thousand times. Sorry, 1,000%, I should say. So it's gonna go through pretty quick, but I'll just kind of walk you through it. Okay, first of all, what I'm doing here is I brought in my sketch, put it on a multiply layer, and then I just put like a neutral ground behind it. Show something that's a little bit warmer, so it's a medium gray with a little bit more towards like a red orange. And then, as you can see, I'm painting underneath the multiply layer, just with some local colors. I was doing a little bit of modeling of the form. I also brought in a kind of a darker version of that gray color, just to kind of create a shadowy area. I just wanted to kind of lead the eye towards the face. So basically, kind of like try to just neutralize and kind of like harmonize the areas that I don't want you to look at, and that creates kind of creates something that will kind of push your eye towards the areas with more contrast, such as the face. So you can see the face and everything has more saturated colors, brighter, more vibrant colors, and as compared to everything else, and that just kind of guides your eye more to that location. So at this point, tried a few different ideas with the eyes, and I just kind of like didn't like what I had, so I erased it, and I just kind of painted in some blank eyes, which I'll fill in later. You'll see I'm zooming in and out quite a bit. That's because I heard one time that John Singer Sargent would actually like pace back and forth towards the canvas constantly, just so that he could kind of like take a step, like walk all the way back, so he could see his canvas and he could see his model at the same time, and then he'd walk forward and then make a brushstroke. Now, obviously, this isn't anything representational. This is totally from a sketch, from my imagination. But the same principle applies in the sense that it's important to get a look at how everything is working together. So I want to get a sense of the details. So I want to put in my details, and I want to see how that looks compared to the whole thing. So it's kind of like it's kind of annoying actually to watch that me zooming in and out like that. But in case you're wondering, that's why I do it. Some other people also will open up two versions of their document. One they'll zoom into, and one they'll just kind of have zoomed out, so that they can constantly just see the two versions. And so you can see how the small decisions you're making in detail are actually affecting the whole. Now I've tried that way, but this way seems to work a little bit better for me. I like to work a little bit more quick, and I find that this allows me to just do that. So here now I'm just, as you can see, I'm just kind of like blocking my shadows. I'm using black to kind of like define some details. Kind of like where it's going in terms of the colors. I like how certain areas are more vibrant, and certain areas are a little bit more kind of like harmonized, desaturated, kind of blending into the background. But the information is still there, so your eye picks it up. You'll also notice that one of the things I do with the black, I kind of draw in certain details. So I like to draw and paint and design kind of all at the same time. So here I'm just kind of like refining in some details with a black line. Oftentimes the black line won't stay. It'll just kind of be a guide. I'll just put it in there to basically give me an idea of how I want to continue painting things. oftentimes, and if you scroll back to the beginning of the video, you'll see the initial sketch that I started with was pretty loose. I kind of like that because it leaves me open to explore and make happy accidents and just try different ideas. So at this point, I'm just trying to work out the cast shadow from his arm onto his leg. Cast shadows are great because they help give information about the three-dimensional form of an object. So I love to use them all the time on legs and on the body and arms and any place that I can use it to show kind of a cross contour line wrapping around a form. Helps give clues as to the directional thrust of that form. So for example, if you look at the legs, you can kind of see that they're jutting forwards based on the fact that the cast shadow line is creating a curve that is going upwards. Here I'm just detailing out the hands. I'm kind of like using my colors and my values to modulate the form. In these areas I find a little bit tricky, just to get a sense of the fact that the knuckle is bending, and the wrist is also bending. So it takes a little bit of time to kind of really finesse that and work that out. Here I'm just doing the feet, and you can see I'm not trying to be totally super precise with everything. I like to at times make things a little bit wonky, a little bit silly. And I mean, it's pretty obvious. Check out the eyes. One of those eyes is gigantic, and then one is just kind of regular sized. So here I'm painting the tail, and again, this area I don't want it to have nearly as much detail, and I don't want it to have nearly as much value contrast or chromatic contrast or saturation, just because I don't want your eyes to think that there's something there to see. If you do look there, there's information, but I don't want the viewer to be like, oh, let me look here, let me look here. I kind of want to organize my picture in a way where I'm kind of directing the viewer where to look, by adding certain areas, certain passages which have a little bit more contrast in terms of color, in terms of value, in terms of shape, size, stuff like that. Again, any area which has more details and more contrast close together is going to be more attractive to the eye. So if I have like all kinds of crazy details going on everywhere, so you're not really going to know where to look. And this is kind of like something that I've struggled with a lot in the past. Just not really understanding how to organize a picture. I would just kind of put detail everywhere on everything. But over time, after I've studied actually quite a bit about composition and design principles and what's the other one? Fundamentals of art fundamentals, and yeah, it's kind of been pretty illuminating. It always seemed like there was a secret information, secret knowledge of some people. They knew how to make a picture that just seemed so elusive, and I couldn't understand why some people's work looks so, what's the word I'm looking for? Just looks so kind of like thought through and worked out and I guess organized, and I just couldn't figure it out, and it's not often you get someone who can really explain that to you. So yeah, I just started studying books on art fundamentals, and again, I still have a ton of things to learn, but I do feel that now I have a bit of a better idea of what I'm doing. But it's been said that composition and design is oftentimes, in many ways more important than actually being able to draw well, which crazy as that sounds. The reason being, if you know how to arrange lines, shapes, colors, values, textures, etc., if you know how to arrange them, you can make a pleasing picture in an abstract way, without having good drawing, good representational drawing. With that being said, you can be an excellent draftsman or draftswoman and have like great drawing skills, but if you're unable to organize your drawing well, it might just look flat and boring and uninteresting. So it's kind of you. Ultimately, I think you want to kind of have both things working together. But yeah, composition and design, don't sleep on that, because it's a super important thing, and it's crucial to making a well organized drawing that will read well and will help communicate, I guess, whatever your story is, whatever your idea is, or whatever your concept is that you're trying to communicate to your audience. It'll help you say it more clearly. So what I'm doing here now is basically just using adjustment layers. It's Photoshop, so I try to take advantage of it. You'll see also I flip my canvas back and forth horizontally, just to kind of like see, objectively, whether or not things are tilted or skewed, or if it's working out right. And again, I did this at about 2:33 in the morning, so usually I like to sit on my work a little bit before I post it, or before I kind of like making a decision about it. But this one I just posted right away, and now I'm just posting this video just because it's the first real like video tutorial I've done, and I've been meaning to do this for a long time. And I figured if I don't do it, I'll never get done. So anyways, I played with some adjustment layers. I tried to get the colors and the values to a point where I like them, and then I like to always go in after and just do my final tweaks, and paint over. Try as much as possible to treat it as a traditional media, so painting on one layer. I find that if my layers are too much divided, if I work that way, then I find it blocks me from working. I guess what's the word I'm looking for? Working spontaneously, and it stops me from being able to make big changes. So if I don't like his arm, or I don't like his neck or something like that, I want to be able to paint it out and then repaint it in the way I want it. You don't really see that much in this video. I do have a fair amount of layers, but with this video I had a drawing that I was pretty happy with to start with, and I kind of use that as a jumping off point. Now here I'm just drawing in some more lines on his chest. But again, I'm trying to make sure that if you look at the overall form, it's modeled from top to bottom, so you get that big general movement, that big general curve from the top of his chest to the bottom of his belly. There is some light dark modulation in between, but you'll notice that it's subordinated to the larger form, which is important, because then that gives a sense of solidity and structure underlying all your details. Okay, so now I'm just kind of going black and white, just messing around with colors a little bit more. Sometimes I like to push it pretty far just to bring it back. I use adjustment layers, and I like to use layer masks, to kind of mask out some of the features, mask out some of the colors. So basically that's it, and Hope you enjoyed. Try to make some more videos. Alright, take care. Bye.